Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to see yet another concept in Tableau, that is relationship in Tableau. So as we know that relationship has been introduced as a new default data modeling in the version of 2020.2, and since then the relationship has become quite popular among the Tableau developer. So we are going to understand the difference between a relationship and cross database join as well as the data blending. So how relationship in Tableau is impacting your data model, and why, and what was the purpose of introducing relationship in Tableau. So we are going to understand this thing with the help of sample data. So I'm going to use a very small data set for your understanding purpose, so that we will be creating a relationship between these two tables, that is country table and city table. So I have loaded this data into Excel, and I'm going to join this Excel in my Tableau as a data source, and I'm going to establish a relationship between these two tables. So just to give you a overview of this data, so we have sales data, so where we have the country, then country name, and the target sales for that country. So obviously this target sales is into the USD dollars. So and then we have a country ID, then city ID, then city and cell. So as we can understand that we have a data at more granular level, that is at the city levels. So we will be understanding all these concepts with the help of this sample data. Now as we know that the relationship in Tableau, the definition stands as a new default way of data modeling which was introduced in the version of 2020.2. And when we want to get the data from two or more tables, then we can establish the relationship between two tables, right? So relationship in Tableau is smart enough to handle the aggregation in smarter and faster way. So earlier what used to happen, that we used to we used to declare a join type between the two tables. Now this relationship Tableau automatically determines the join type between the two tables, and it handles the aggregation, or the granularity of the data in more smarter way, right? So that is why they introduced a relationship in Tableau. And then what happens when you establish relationship between two tables, right? So when you create a relationship between two tables, so it creates a logical layer between two tables. So logical layer meaning like it just give Tableau a direction that okay, you are creating a contract between two tables. Maybe like in our case, like we will be creating a contract between country table and city table. So eventually this country table and city table in relationship, so they will be having a logical layer, so they will act as a container for each physical table. So eventually this country table and city table will become your physical table where actually the data has been stored. Okay, and this relationship will act as a container for each physical table. Okay, so we are going to join this data to Tableau, and we'll be creating a relationship in Tableau. So let me go back to my Tableau and open this sample data. So this is my sample data. So as you can see on my left hand side, so we have a city table and then we have a country tables. Now let me rename this data source to a relationship, so that we will be able to understand the difference between relationship, cross database join, and data blending as well. So as a next step, I will be adding uh, one more data source again for cross database. So I'm again connecting to my sample data here. Again, we will follow the similar procedure, but this time to establish the cross database join, what you will have to do is like you will need to double click on this country table. So as soon as you double click on this country table, you'll get this window, and here you will have to put your city table, and you will see that Venn diagram is there, and you can define the join type here, like whatever join type you require, you can declare it here. So right now I'm just keeping it as an inner join, but as per your requirement or as per your data model, you can always change it to the left, right, or the full outer join. And let me close this one again and rename it to the cross database join. Okay, and one more thing that we will be following for the data blending. So I will be adding one more data source. Again, I will be going back to Excel. Here I will say sample data, and now this time I'll be pulling up only country table because as of now, I just have the country table as my primary data source, and then we'll be taking up this city as another data source in data blending. So let me give you, or let me give you a different name here. Maybe I will say data blend. Okay. So let me go back to our pointers to discuss like the differences between cross-database join, data blending, and relationship in Tableau. So the first difference is like how to identify whether it's a relationship model or a cross-database join or data blending. So relationship is represented by noodles. So let me show you. So if I'm clicking on this data source and going back to this data source window, you will see that relationship is represented by this noodle. Whereas if I change the data source to cross database join, so you will see it is been represented by a Venn diagram. And when we go for a data blend, so let's say this data blend is for a country table. So let me rename it quickly. So this is my country name. Okay, and let me add one more data source for data blending, and this time we'll be taking up the data for city, and here I will just rename it to the data blending city. So whereas when I'm so let's say I'm using the data from these two different sources from, let's say, data blend country name. So here I'm taking up the country name, and now if I want to take the data from another data source, so you will see that this chain is there, or you will have to use this icon to establish the data blending among the two different data sources. So this is how you identify among the different data sources. So the next difference is like logical layer is created when you use relationship in Tableau, and they act as a container of a physical table or a layer. Okay, so again, let me go back to relationship. So you will see that these two are just acting as a container. So if I double click on this country table, so under the country table, I will see, or under the country table container, I will see the actual country table as a physical table. Whereas for this city container, I will see the data for only for city table, and this city container will have a table for a city. Okay, so this is how the data is stored in relationship. Whereas if you click on the cross database join, you will see that there are no different data sources, or there are no different containers. So only one data source is being created, or the combined data source is created with the help of physical data. Okay, or a physical table. So when you use data blending, so data blending is a bit different as compared to cross database join and relationship, because they act as two different data sources. So there is no like direct relationship, or any kind of a join between two data sources. So if I go on the data source window, so we will see these other individual the tables which are available there. So there is no relationship, or there is no noodle, or there is no a Venn diagram. So they are completely or very separate data sources when it comes to data blending. We will move to another pointer. So that is, in relationship you do not require to create or declare a joint. That's right. So when we are using or establishing a relationship here, actually we are not declaring any kind of relationship, right? Not we are not telling Tableau to have any kind of a left join or right join, or inner join or outer join. Whereas when we use cross database join, we can always change the join condition from inner to left, left to right, or right to full outer join, and we can join these two tables based on the columns, the common columns among these two tables, and uh, according to the join condition, our data model will differ. And whereas in the data blending, we can see that by default left join is created, and we cannot change that left join. So again, let me go back to a sheet level. So let's say here in my country table, I have this country name, and now I want to see the respective city and their sales. So you will see the sales generated among the the by the uh, cities which are available in these countries. So this is like how you will give, you will see the data, or you will get the data. So by default, the left join is established when you use the data blending. So that is another difference. So again, the next difference is about the count of records. So you will see the count of records shown differently for each table. So for example, in relationship, let's say now, or in our sample data, we are using two different tables. So one is city and another one is a country table. So if you see here, so in my country table, I have only 4 records, whereas in my uh, city level, or in the city table, I have total 10 records. So when I go back to my a relationship data source, so you will see the two different counts. So one is for the city. So let's say in the city we will have the 10 records, whereas in the country table we will have the count of the only 4 records. So the count is shown individually. Now again, let me go back to the across database join. So you will see there are no different count given for a city table or a country table. So we will see the count of city table and country table as a combine, that is 9, because if you look at this data carefully, there is no record for Canada in the city table, or the country ID 4 in the city table, or there is no corresponding country ID available here in the city table, which has a data in the country ID. So that is, or on the country table. So that is why we are seeing the combined record as 9, because we are having a inner join here for this data source. So if we change the the join condition, so let's say I'm saying full outer join. So in this case, we will see the count is getting 11, because if you look at the data, so they will take the 4 records from here, and then the another one which is not matching, but which is available in the city table, that is London. So that will add another record. So this Canada and London, which were earlier not a part of inner join, they will automatically become a part of the data source or the data model, because we are using full outer join and we are getting a count of 11 as a total count of here. And in data blending, of course, we get a separate count, because they have nothing to do, or they're not establishing any relationship or join among them, because they are two different or separate data sources. So next difference between relationship join and data blending in Tableau is like one-to-many or many-to-many relationships are supported. Then so in the interview also you will get a question like, what is many-to-many relationship or one-to-many relationship option available for cross-database join or relationship. So let's say we will go back to our data. So let's say here we'll see for country called India, we have 3 records, right? So we have a Bangalore, then we have Mumbai and Pune, right? So let's say I'm saying my country name here. Okay, let me remove the hierarchy, and I'm saying country, and I'm again taking my city from the city table. Okay, so you will see that each country has the data. Each country has the data for or it's taking up the data for each country. It's displaying the city name for each country. Okay, whereas when we go back to the data blending, so let's say I'm going for the data blending now. Okay, and here I'm taking my country, and where I'm trying to get the city name here along with that. So I'm establishing the data blending, or the I'm just creating the I'm just using the common field to blend the data. Okay, so you will see the asterisk key, because it does not support one-to-many relationship, because the uh, city, my data blending city data source has become my secondary data source, and in data blending it is a restriction, or it is a limitation that we see the data only at the aggregate level. So that is why we see a asterisk key here. Now coming back to the next thing. So again, cross database join also support for one-to-many or many-to-many relationship. So it will act same as a relationship. Now, very important pointer, or or you can even say this in the interview to crack the interview or to impress the interviewer. That is main option, I mean main reason to introduce relationship in Tableau was to avoid a duplicacy in the data and to handle the aggregation of the major values smartly at a different level of granularity of the data. Okay, so in cross database join we had to use level of details to handle the granularity. Okay, so to avoid it, or to avoid the, or to keep the usage of level of details or the LOD calculation at the minimum level, Tableau has come up with relationship to handle the the aggregation at in a more smarter and efficient way. So I will tell you like how it is impacting and how Tableau is handling your data. Okay, so let's say I want to calculate the target achieved by a particular country. So let's say I am just using a relationship here. So this is my country. Okay, this is my country, and I know like what is the target sales for my country. So let's say for Australia it's a 4,000 USD. Then for Canada again it's 4,000. Then India it's 3,000, and then United States it's 5,000. Okay, and I want to find out like what is the actual sales has taken place in the particular country. So here I'm saying as so we will see here in Australia the total sales is 1,500. Then in India it is 1,800, and then in United States is 1,100. So now I want to calculate the percentage of sales which is been achieved. So I will simply write a calculation. So let's say I will say percentage of sales target. Okay, so it is very straightforward and simple calculation. So I will say sum of sales divided by sum of target sales. Okay, and I will say just put it in the rows, and I'll say discrete, and then again I can go to the format and change it to the percentage as well. So I'll say percentage. So you will see that this percentage are calculated directly here. Okay, so I'll say here as a relationship data. Okay, now let's start the same view or build the same view with the help of cross database join data model. So I will go back to sheet 1 and I will just rename it to cross database join. Okay, and we will take the fields from cross database join here, and first thing I will take it as a country name. Okay, then I am taking up as my target sales. Okay, now let me take my actual sales as well. Okay, so initially we will compare these two measures first in our sample dashboard. I will create one dummy dashboard here. I will take these two fields here. So one is coming up from relationship, and the another one is coming up from, let's say, cross database join. So if you compare the values, so here the target cells in relationship is populated correctly. So if you look at the aggregate or aggregation level of target cells in relationship, it is showing up 4,000, whereas in cross database join it is showing us at 12,000 for Australia. This is happening because if you look at the Australia, so Australia is having a target sales as 4,000, and Australia has come 3 times in a city table, that is Adelaide, then Melbourne and Sydney as well. So 4,000 into 3, that is 12,000. So that is why we are getting the wrong aggregation in the cross database join. So again, if I go back to the cross database join and let's say if I create a calculated field here for, let's say, percentage of target sales, then I'll simply say sum of sales, then that is divided by sum of my, coming up as my sum of target sales. Okay, and I'm saying okay, I will take it up in the rows discrete. I'll change my format here to percentage. Okay, so again I will go back to the dashboard. Now if you look at the target, the percentage of target cells here, so it is showing a wrong data, right? So this is what the problem with the cross database join we were facing earlier. So that is why Tableau come up with the relationship to handle this aggregation at a more smarter way. So what we used to do, or how we used to fix this problem, so maybe like instead of using average, we can use instead of using sum, we can use average here, and I can say now okay. So then you will see this percentage of target cells has been changed here, right? So aggregation has been changed, and this aggregation has been handled correctly now. So after changing the the correct aggregation from sum to average. So this is why Tableau come up with a relationship to handle all these things in more smarter way. So as exercise, I want you to practice with this data for cross database join, like or that is for the data blending, like how in data blending the data will be handled, and what result you will see. So now another important thing that you need to understand in the relationship, that or you might get a question in your mind, that what is performance options, and then what is cardinality and what is referential integrity in relationship. So you might get the question in interview as well. So what is cardinality? Cardinality stands for how Tableau determines whether it is menu to menu or one to one. So let me take you back to our sample data. So here you can see in both the tables. So one is a country table and another one is a city table. So if you look at here, so for one country they have the multiple records, right? So meaning like for India they have three records, for United States again they have multiple, then again for Australia they have the three records, right? So that is why Tableau has determined this cardinality as many to many. If in our data set or in our database we had only one record presented for the each country and each city, then Tableau would have pick it up as a one to one. So best way to keep this cardinality as by default, that Tableau assumes or Tableau determines. So this is what the cardinality stands for. And for this referential integrity, which comes like for example, let's say here then again we have the country as India and we have only one record for India, or maybe we have the multiple records for India. But if you see in the data, like we have this country ID 4, that is Canada, but we can't see this the another record for Canada in the city table, right? So meaning like there is no dependency of this table, I mean the country table to city table, or maybe this city table to country table, because we have a city coming up from London, coming up as a London, which do not have this country ID. So there is no direct dependency of city table on the country table, right? So this is what the cardinality stands. I mean the referential integrity stands like some records match. If any of them, like maybe let's say this Canada has some another city, that is Vancouver, or any other city in city table, then and for this London, like we have the country, call it as the United Kingdom as a country, or maybe England as a country, then it would have picked the referential integrity as all records match. So Tableau is very smart, like to identify the performance options. So if you're not sure about this cardinality and referential integrity, just keep it as it is, what Tableau has identified by default. Now coming back to our interview questions. So interview questions on this Tableau relationship topic. Definitely you will have a question on this the definition of relationship, then in what version did Tableau introduce relationship, then can you define a join type in Tableau relationship, then can you take data from multiple sources. So answer is yes, we can take the data from multiple sources for relationship, such as the first source could be your Oracle, and then second could be your CSV file. So obviously you can establish a relationship between the Oracle database and a CSV file. And then again, the major one is like, what are the major differences between relationship, data blending, and cross database join. So this is what the the comprehensive topic that we have covered, that is Tableau relationship. So let me know in the comment section if you have a question on this topic. So please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.